the role-inverse, the Hunters of Artemis are a group of predominantly preteens or young teen girls who join Artemis to become immortal warriors unless they die in battle. And, that's a really interesting concept, minus the choice of characterization that Rick made for them. But the thing that I have a problem with the Hunters of Artemis, outside of the characterization, is the way in which Rick utilizes them, which is basically, when he's done with the female character, they'll join the Hunters of Artemis. And I don't think that works. Let me explain. The Hunters of Artemis are truly a really interesting group of people. Again, minus some of their characterization as man-haters, because historically, mythologically, whatever, wrong. They've had male hunters, but that's a conversation for another time. Actually, I may have already done one. If I have, it's probably going to be carded up here now. But the problem that I have is the way in which Rick uses them, which is basically not often enough. The Hunters of Artemis are a group of young women who, are immortal and have intense skills and, abilities that can be used for many useful things. I mean, in the original series, they are consistently in war with Percy and his friends facing a lot of trouble. And obviously we are only introduced to the Hunters in Titan's Curse, but, we don't see them again until Last Olympian. And then again, we only see them in Lost Hero, and then in the last 2 books. Is it the last 2 books? I think it may actually only be Blood of Olympus. And then we only get another 1 book, maybe 2, that features the Hunters of Artemis in Trials of Apollo. It is 2. But as a group, we only see the Hunters of Artemis as a group in one of the Trials of Apollo's books. But they're a really interesting group of people that I just do not feel are utilised enough, because we never actually get told what the Hunters are doing, or why, or where, or anything like that. They just vaguely reappear every so often, maybe reference what they've been doing, and then disappear again. Rarely ever spoken about after that until they're brought back in for plot-related reasons, and then they disappear again. And the problem is that the Hunters of Artemis, they do very much just feel like a plot device more than an actual group, because they only seem to be utilised for plot-related reasons, or, in the case of Raina, we don't know what to do with this character anymore, Hunters of Artemis. Talia, though somewhat having a specific purpose due to the fact that she is, the chosen one until she joins the Hunters, because she's then frozen in time at 15 before the chosen one prophecy, she then kind of just disappears. So she joins the Hunters to make Percy the chosen one again, so technically not tying her to the situation, it's more her choice is specific towards Percy, although obviously she's not making the choice for it, but plot related wise, it's not actually for her really, it's for Percy's plot. And then she disappears. And it's disappointing because they have such an interesting concept that could have been utilised a lot more in general. Having them reappear a little bit more often. Having our heroes being able to call on them. Like, they have no way to communicate with the Hunters whatsoever. And especially when Talia takes on the leadership role. And she, has no problems being around boys and men, etc. in comparison to the rest of the Hunters, because Rick's characterization was weird. They still have no way to actually communicate with each other beyond maybe the Iris message. But even then, there's just no communication at all between our demigod main characters and the Hunters. The Hunters will just appear when the plot needs them to. I just feel like, considering, they're technically half immortal because they'll only die in battle, they have an incredible skill set that they could have actually been used to be teaching other people if they wanted to, especially with Talia again being in charge. But they just kind of aren't. And it's always surprising to me, especially for Heroes of Olympus. I thought they would have been a lot more utilised, considering, hey, this could quite literally be the end of the world, because it's Mother Earth, you know, the thing right beneath our feet. But other than appearing to be like, hey, I'm your sister, they don't serve any other purpose. Except maybe, I guess, helping with the statue, but that's a conversation another time related to that nonsense. There was just potential with them. I don't think I understand where I was going with this video. I just don't think they were utilised as well as they could have been. They could have been huge assets to the characters. They could have actually developed bonds with their characters more often, instead of someone joins the hunters, they'll disappear until the plot needs them again. Because then it just makes them feel more like a plot point than an actual group of people and characters. Because we don't even know that much about the hunters themselves. We know maybe a few of the members, and we have no emotional connection to them beyond Talia and now Rhaena. We don't know who's still alive, because obviously a lot of them died in Blood of Olympus. We don't know who was part of them in the first place, except maybe a few odd names like Phoebe. And I think that's it. I think that's the only other name that we knew was Phoebe. And I think Phoebe may be the one that died. But see, like, I know I've got a terrible memory, but that's kind of my point. We don't know enough about them. They're just kind of there, where I think they could have been utilised more. They could have helped with training for the battle for Manhattan in Battle of the Labyrinth. Why didn't they appear in Battle of the Labyrinth? Why didn't they help out with training of like Piper and stuff, and like for the Seven, and you know, helping them learn skills? I don't know, there was a lot of possibilities for them, and especially considering they also introduced the connection between Talia and Jason, you'd thought they would have been more apparent in the books, but no. And I think it was just it's the same with the Amazons to a degree, but more so the Hunters of Artemis, because they have more connections to our cast of characters than the Amazons do. They just weren't given the opportunity to be utilised within the story, where I feel like they could have been. And yeah, I don't know why I was going with this video at all. I just like the Hunters of Artemis and just wish they were not introduced, I just wish they were used more. I think that's just where I was going with this. So, yeah, did you want them to be used more? Sometimes I make these videos and I'm kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just talking. God. Hit a thumbs up, comment, tell me. I think I'm just going to end this video here. Thank you all for watching. I'm so sorry.